Um, and it's basically Bulgaria. Who would have thought that they would be one of the first ones, not the first one, but one of the first ones to announce their act? And we all know Rotterdam, Måneskin. What did they say after they won the contest? Something in terms of rock and roll never dies kind of thing. And I think a lot of countries are taking that to heart. We have a band in Bulgaria called the Intelligent Music Project, which I always find very interesting. If you feel a flattering adjective to be added to your name feels like, are you overcompensating? But anyways, that's a story for in just a moment. But for those with a great memory, Intelligent Music Project, one of the names, and the guy in the center back is a familiar face. It's Stoyan Yankulov, part of the group that has already represented Bulgaria twice, along with Elitsa Todorova. First time in 2007 with Voda, the first time that Bulgaria qualified, and their best result for the longest time, a 5th place. And then they returned in 2013. The duo with Samo Championi didn't qualify, unfortunately, to the finals, but now he is back as part of a group. Now, this group, the Intelligent Music Project, what they're calling it for Eurovision purposes, the group has existed for quite some time, and but there has been an ever-changing lineup for over the years. So this is the current one that will probably go to Eurovision unless there's some last-minute changes. And we also know the name of the song. Apparently, it's going to be Intention. Now, we don't know the song yet. That'll be more details will be announced next month in December. That doesn't mean we'll have the song in December, but more information on it. So that is the current status of Bulgaria. So we do have a name. Now, we don't know the song, but Sean, just based first impression on paper, what were your thoughts?
This year is going to be a really interesting one for me, I think, especially because, as everyone knows, I love Måneskin. I love rock music. I loved Finland in Rotterdam. So it's going to be interesting to see how people play it this year, because I think 2007 was probably a good indicator of what happened. A lot of rock songs started to flood the contest. It might surprise you to think I actually don't want that to happen, because I think there's a lot of variety that can be had at Eurovision, and I think everyone just trying to be the next Måneskin isn't going to work. It definitely isn't going to work because someone's going to lose. In terms of this band, I'll be honest, I have absolutely, other than Stoyan, I've got no idea what type of music they make. I don't know if Intelligent Music Project is an apt name for them. It could be anything, but I'm interested to see what they come up with. And it's surprising that Bulgaria have sort of flown out of the traps so early this year, especially if the song is going to be released next month, which I read. I don't know how true that is, whether that's just more news, because they normally play the waiting game like a lot of other countries in March. So it'd be interesting to see what happens there.
Jelly actually said that apparently they did make an announcement on Twitter that the song will be released already on December 7th. Did you know that?
Wow. I read it somewhere. I sort of half read it. I didn't really sort of take in the information, but if I think that's next weekend, is it not? Or the week after?
Yeah.
So wow, we're almost ready for the first song of Eurovision 2022. So that's flown by. It'll be interesting to see what kind of pace they set, because I know that there's still a lot of Eurovision fans that aren't really into the whole alternative rock scene. A lot of people didn't like Måneskin. And I see a lot of comments from people saying, oh, you can't have 2 rock entries, 3 rock entries. We're going to have 5 rock entries. It's like there are so many different genres. It's like pop is not one sound. It's the same with rock and the same with alternative music. So
yeah, I always put Finland and Italy this past
year. Yeah, exactly. 2 completely one's like sort of almost glam rock, pop rock, and then the other one is like full on nu metal. It was just completely different styles. So hopefully people can sort of go into this with an open mind and just see what happens. But Bulgaria have always been high quality over the last few years. Even if the song hasn't always been there, at least it's been well produced, and they've got the right idea in terms of the stage show. So we'll see what happens.
It's very interesting because there is a brand new team in place, like the head
Yeah.
of delegation, all the people in charge have gone. And you can say definitely the previous team, they've gone with something that felt, or at least the intent was to come with up with something, I wouldn't say safe, because the interests weren't safe per se, but certainly a lot more like mainstream, for the lack of a better word, or certainly more within the comfort zone, what people feel like easily comfortable listening to, right? This new team clearly, I mean, we don't know the song yet. They could totally go the other route and send something, okay, never mind. But I think we all can agree most likely it'll not be a traditional Eurovision entry from what we've known in the past.
But we could end up with like Cyprus in 2016 when we saw -1 and we thought, okay, a proper rock band. And then they came out with, you know, sort of really poppy sort of Jason sound. So
yeah, true.
Who knows? We'll see. It could be a real curveball.
Yeah, I just know a lot of people are actually, not a lot of people, some people on social media voice their displeasure, not for the reason that you mentioned as well, but also the way the band was selected. Some people are claiming they even haven't officially submitted yet. It was just a hasty decision by the new team because there were a lot of other big names that were interested. So I just remember, and I don't know if this is all true or not, so I'm not even taking a side on this one, but I do remember I'm not sure if you remember, Sean, in 2013, the drama around the Bulgarian entry, Samo Championi, which coincidentally, Stoyan was part of it as well, because there was a national final, a different song one. I forgot the name of this one.
Yeah, there's a lot of changes that year, wasn't there?
Yes, and then all of a sudden they found a way to disqualify their own song so that they could pick the song that they like. So that I'm always like, well, I'm not saying this is accurate, what these people are saying. However, based on some previous patterns that I have noticed, I could see that kind of happening. So
my only other concern as well, if I could just jump in, because I can see comments saying a part of the group Rainbow will be the vocalist, the winner of X Factor is in there as well. Obviously Stoyan. I don't know much about the project, but the fact that they're called a project, I kind of worry, is this going to go down the Equinox route where there's some very talented artists who are thrown together that don't really gel all too well on stage? That's my concern.
Too many chefs in the kitchen kind of thing.
Yeah, but if they've been around a little while and they've been together, that shouldn't be an issue. But with me not knowing, you know, what these guys are like, that's my initial concern.
Yeah. No, I can definitely see that as well. There's probably love change, and that is true. I'm still, even though there's a completely new team, or like mostly a completely new team in place, I just cannot see them going, well, now we don't care about the results anymore. Bulgaria knows that they can do really well. What, they got a 2nd place, a 4th place, and even the ones where they didn't do as well, 11th place this past year is still a fantastic result. Still better than what, 20... how many countries have we, like 28 other countries, let's something like that. So they're still doing really well, usually a bare minimum left side of the scoreboard kind of situation. And I don't see them going with something, I don't see them going Georgia's route. Do you know what I mean? And that's an insult because I love Georgia, but Georgia is more like, screw this, we send what we think is different, and whether it works or not, like that's a secondary to us.
And just thank you for bringing up Georgia, because I just wanted to make a quick comment. Circus Mercus, I am fully on board. I've listened to a lot of their music since they were announced, and I'm going to make an early prediction. They might be one of my favorites this year without even hearing the song. So I hope they don't let me down. I'm really excited for that one.
The pressure is on. Just a few comments.
Pressure, guys.
Justina is saying the band said they want to play that song in their concert this month already. So referring to the Intelligent Music Project, which is, again, I'm sure they're going to change the name, because this is as me like saying handsome Eurovision legend Matt. You know, I'm trying to push things that I just not. I'm neither handsome nor a legend. So it just seems very like overcompensating the name to me. So I just find it funny. But yeah, hopefully the name will change. But other than that, we have to wait and see. I am not too upset. And some other comments, Dan Clem is saying, I think most of the displeasure about rock songs does not come from hate towards rock, but comes from people not appreciating the trend of copying aspects of the winner of the previous year. Now, do you think this copy of the previous winner is a fair assessment of the individuals, or could you say, and I'm going to ask you that question, Sean, I mean, it's just your opinion, could it be more like an encouraging thing? Because a lot of more rock bands, something less poppy, are like, Eurovision's not for us. We could never do well or win there. We're not going to do it. Now they're seeing Italy doing well. Maybe, just maybe, we can win. Maybe the things have changed. Do you think that could be a factor as well?
I think it's always going to be a factor. You're going to get more rock bands enter anyway. I think I watched your live stream last week, and people were saying that there's other national finals where a lot of rock bands have actually submitted that probably wouldn't in years before. So it'd be interesting to see who makes it through. We'll get to it later. I see Sweden's got an indie band in there as well. So already we're starting to see it filter through in other national finals. I think it's a yes and no kind of situation with that comment, because I think it's fair to criticise countries going after what they think will do well based on last year. I don't think it works like that. I think it's just a case of, if you've got the best song, you will win. It's as simple as that. But then on the other hand, we saw a lot of comments in Rotterdam and leading up to Rotterdam, comparisons. Oh, only one of Italy and Finland can do well. In the end, they both did really well because they were both really good songs with good staging. So it's not an either or type thing. And it as much as I don't want the contest flooded with rock songs, I know that there's different niches and genres. That means that, you could have 3 rock songs could end up being the top 3 this year. If they're all different styles and they stand out enough, why not?
Exactly.
So
and
I think the criticism is not a case of, it's not like it's because it's a copy. I think the criticism was already there before Måneskin won.
Yeah, and the thing is, people need to remember, even people that appreciate rock or are open to rock, it doesn't mean every song will be, if you like rock, you're going to, by default, like every single, I'm going to call it rock adjacent music, because again, not all of them are like traditional rock. For me, I'm the prime example, because the Italian song, I loved Italy for many years, but Måneskin song, no. But I love Finland. Like, that was one of my all-time the favorites this year. So that's just how it goes. Just because they're like at least not the safe pop route, a little more harder in like the tunes, it doesn't mean that everyone will love, people who like the music will like them all. It's just not how it works. And that is just also a very important factor. But more to come on that.